Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Josie's Point of View, where we focus on human interest stories from the Carolinas and beyond. Today's Thursday and it's October the 27th, 2022. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, I'd like to extend to you a warm welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you find the information here to be informative. And if you're a return viewer, by all means, thank you for coming back. You know, I always say the tide changes so frequently here on these YouTube streets, so you always have to acknowledge where your support comes from, and I want you to know I sincerely thank you for your support. Feel free to like and to share this video, and don't forget to subscribe. And our story today comes from Lexington, North Carolina. Take a look at the headline. And it reads, "Child found locked in dog kennel outside of home." I'll provide you with a summary here, and as always, I'll place links to a few of the full articles in the description box. Well, here is another shocking case of child abuse and neglect right here in my home state of North Carolina, and it's clearly showing how our children continue to be at risk. And I think this really makes you wonder whether anyone really cares, especially since this case of abuse was seen by many because it was ongoing for several months and it was being conducted right in the open. And it's about a young boy who was forced to live not inside of the house with his parents and other siblings, but he was forced to live in a locked dog cage in the back of the house, and neighbors knew about it because they saw him there. And this is what police have reported about this case. Now, on Wednesday, October the 19th at 6:30 a.m., police say they received an anonymous call from a concerned neighbor about what appears to be a disturbing occurrence, something that had been odd, but they had noticed it before. And to be specific, the caller reported that there was a juvenile child approximating 9 to 12 years old, and he was locked in a dog cage overnight, and the dog cage was located in the back of the house. Deputies say when they arrived at the home, they saw a young boy aged 9 inside the cage that was fastened shut with a combination lock. A combination lock, so he definitely couldn't get out. Authorities say there were animals on the premises, but none were in the cage but the child. The 9-year-old was wearing very little clothing. In fact, they described the clothing as bits and pieces of clothing, but definitely not enough to keep the child warm. Keep in mind there was frost on the ground that morning, and the temperature was recorded at 28 degrees. 28 degrees. Imagine that. The child told deputies the cage is where he lived. He said he did not have a room in the house with the rest of the family. This is where he was living, and he had been doing so since April. So that poor child had been locked in a darn dog cage in the back of the yard of the home since April. So he had been out there for 6 months, for 6 whole months. So they broke into the enclosure and rescued the child, after which EMS was called, and they transported him to the nearby hospital so he could be checked out. Now, as police were looking around the environment, they said they saw a woman at the back door of the home holding a small child, but it appears she noticed them because she walked out of sight and turned off the lights. Remember, this was 6:30 in the morning, okay? I guess she was hoping that the police didn't see her. But it was just so stupid. What did she think was going to happen? I hope she didn't think they were going to walk away. And I'm sure police knocked on that door numerous times, but she did not open that door. And due to the seriousness of the situation, deputies had no choice. They had to force entry into the home, and they detained this woman here, 30-year-old Sarah Starr, who they found out really was the child's stepmother. She told deputies she did not know the combination of the lock and that only her Aunt Shelley knew it. Imagine that. Police say Starr was holding a young child, and there were 2 other children inside. Now, so there were 3 children inside, but the 9-year-old was living outside in the dog cage, and it did not appear that Aunt Shelley was at home at the time. And as you might expect, Child Protective Services was contacted to address the living arrangements of the children as police sought to obtain the search warrant. One neighbor drove up on an ATV and spoke to the police and told the police he had seen the young child inside the cage on numerous occasions, and he had even brought the child food on a few occasions. He stated he was growing concerned as the weather began to get cold. But you know, I can't believe
he saw this child locked in a door cage outside several times. You know, the child had been out there all night, and he never contacted the police or CPS. This is just shocking to me. I just don't get it. Where is the outrage? Where's the sense of responsibility? Who the heck is looking out for our children? I don't get it.
So the other children were removed from the home, as you might expect, so they could be checked out. And later that day, the child's biological father, Jonathan Starr, who lived at the home, he was arrested along with his wife, Sarah Starr. And as I already mentioned, Sarah Starr is the stepmother of the 9-year-old. And later on, they were able to find and arrest Aunt Shelley. Her full name is Shelley Barnes. Remember, she was the person who was the holder of the key or the numbers for that combination lock. They say the combination lock that kept a 9-year-old boy locked inside that door cage, a place that had been his residence for 6 months, a place where he was forced to live in 28-degree weather with very little clothing, and as was reported, not enough clothing to keep his young body warm. Makes you wonder if they were trying to kill the child. It's apparent they did not want him, allegedly. What parent allows your child to live in a cage outside while your other children live inside the house? I wonder whose idea that was. I'm sure the police already know. They're just not releasing that information to the public. So there you have them. All three of them, and they were all charged. Sarah and Jonathan Starr are both charged with felony child abuse, inflicting serious physical injury, misdemeanor child abuse, and false imprisonment. Shelley Lucille Barnes, Aunt Shelley, she was charged with felony child abuse, inflicting serious physical injury, misdemeanor child abuse, false imprisonment, holding some type of undisclosed drugs in the home, and possession of a firearm by a felon. Oh, Aunt Shelley was a felon. The warrant also shows that she, Barnes, had a prior conviction for identity theft in 2004. Now, the Davidson County Police did hold a press conference to update residents on the case, and even though there was information they could not disclose, and even though they believed there was ongoing abuse taking place in that home, they still couldn't address it. But they did stress the need for residents to speak up and report things that they believe are improper or unusual, or if they suspect there are instances of child abuse. One positive thing to report, all 4 children who lived in that residence, including the 9-year-old who lived outside in that dog cage, they're all now under the guardianship of Department of Social Services. And you know, I am rooting for that 9-year-old. I sure hope he can be placed with a loving family who can help him overcome some of the trauma he has experienced in his young life. And to all of those people who saw that child living in that cage for 6 months, and to all of those who even took the time to bring him food, I want you to know you did not do enough. You should have reported what you saw to the police a long time ago. Many of you, if you see a dog being mistreated, you won't hesitate to contact the police. But you see a young boy living in a dog cage where he's locked up in there night after night and after night like an animal, and it takes you 6 months to notify the police. Shame on all of you.
And that's all I have for you right now. Feel free to leave me a comment below and let me know what you think about this video. And by all means, feel free to like it and to share it. And if you haven't done so already, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel by clicking on that red subscribe button. It's on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And if you click on the bell that looks just like this one here, it's the notification bell. If you click on that notification bell, you'll be the first to know whenever a new video is uploaded. I thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.